it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Oh, how we doing? Well, Mike broke there. That's a great way to start the show. How we doing today, Boise State fans? Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. BJ Rains with you. Mike Prater's here for his weekly Thursday segment. And before we go, Kurt Blake's been chirping at me for a few days. Big Avalanche fan. So, Kurt, I'm just going to leave this on the screen for all 30 minutes today, Kurt. And wow, what a game last night. I got the blue shirt on today, Mike. I know you're a hockey fan, man. I know most people on here don't care about hockey, but you know what? This is my show, and that's okay. I'm going to celebrate for a little bit.
We start this Thursday show every week with about 3 minutes or 2 minutes of hockey talk, and even you and I were texting last night during that game. Congratulations. I'm not sure you can pull off the series, but BJ, I don't like the St. Louis Blues. I don't hate them, but I don't like them. That was fun last night. And
what's there not to like about them? Come on.
Well, they've beaten up on my 4-year-old team.
All right, so it's a respect thing. I can believe
it's absolutely a respect thing, except for Jordan Binnington. I want to fight about him, but we'll fight about him another time.
Yeah. Fantasy hockey decisions are more important than anything else. So
exactly.
Yeah, no, that was fun and early start. So my son got to stay up with me and watch the game. And down 3-0. I mean, there's a game back in the 80s, the Monday Night Miracle for the Blues, and some of these games, I don't think we're at that point, but you're down 3-0 on the road in an elimination game. You come back and tie the game, which is impressive, but then you give up the amazing 1-on-5 goal from McKinnon to take the lead, and you're like, well, that was fun for about 30 seconds. And then, I don't know, Prater, they had the hats on the ice, and it took about 5 minutes, and that gave the Blues a chance to rest up and get a little game plan there when they pulled the goalie, and they get the goal to tie it, and then you're still thinking, okay, again, it's fun, but they're probably going to lose in overtime. And you know what? Sometimes in overtime, those guys that never play, it just kind of put it on net, and sometimes it goes in. And you know what? The Blues are probably still going to lose the series, but it lets me be excited for a few more days. And so it is what it is. But I'm riding high today, man. It's going to be a great couple of days for me.
Very impressed with the Blues last night. So congratulations, and hope you're not I hope you're feeling okay today. I hope you didn't celebrate too hard last night, but that was a big win. That was fun to watch, and good luck this weekend, my friend.
I can't say the same for my Monday show with Johnny if somehow the Blues win Game 7 on Sunday night, but at least for today, I'm doing great. And Kurt, sorry about it, man. He's been on here. I tried to find a way to block him, Prater, but I couldn't figure out how to block him on YouTube for all of his Avalanche comments. But that's all right. He can just look at my shirt for the next 30 minutes, and we'll call it good. But appreciate everybody for joining us today. And we got a good show today. Jonah Dalmas, the Boise State kicker, is going to join us in about 10 minutes. He is the number 12 player on our countdown of the top 25 most important players to the Broncos in 2022. And so Jonah Dalmas, thanks to Joe Nichols, Sarah Joram over at Boise State, that he's going to join us live here in about 10 minutes to talk about really what was a historic season in 2021 and then to look forward to 2022. But first, Mike, I do want to touch on some scheduling news that's going to come out today. We found out yesterday that the game against the last home game against Utah State is going to be moved to CBS. They obviously made a trade with Air Force. That's going to be a Black Friday game at 10 a.m. Or They made a trade with Fox. We believe that's going to be for the Air Force game. But today, sometime today, I'm guessing, I'm estimating early afternoon, but it could be at any point today. We will get the information on the rest, it sounds like, of Boise State's games. May not get all the kickoff times, but we'll at least get the networks. And I think for the early part of the season, we'll get any games for sure that moved to Thursday or Friday, and we'll have a much clearer picture on Boise State's football schedule, and I'd at least lock in the dates here today.
BJ, just one thing of clarification. I probably should have asked you this on the air. Technically, I should know this already, but this is a Mountain West announcement, and this could maybe not affect the Oregon State game, which could move a couple of weeks down the road. How does this affect Oregon State's game?
It sounds like it's every TV network and every conference all announcing it together at the same time. So,
okay.
Yes, we should for sure get the CBS Sports schedule and the Fox schedule for the Mountain West. So yeah, I can't 100% say the UTEP game will get exactly for sure, even though we already know that got moved to Friday.
Yep.
And we don't know a time or channel on that. I believe UTEP does have a deal with CBS Sports Network, so I think that's probably just a regular Friday night CBS Sports Network game. You are correct that technically the Mountain West announcement won't include the Oregon State game because that's a road game that's controlled by the Pac-12, but I believe the Pac-12 will today also announce their early season schedule, and it should be included in the Pac-12 announcement. So I believe for whatever reason, it used to be in previous years, every conference would kind of do theirs their own, couple of days. But the last couple of years, they've all kind of got together and said, we're doing this together. I saw the MAC announced at 12:30. I guess it's 2:30 Eastern is when the MAC is going to announce theirs. And so I don't think it'll be the early afternoon. They may all come out at the same time. But, it'll be curious. That is kind of the only intrigue left. Is that the biggest intrigue, I guess, the Oregon State game and whether or not that's going to move to a Thursday or Friday?
Yeah, the BYU game, certainly we're intrigued by that a little bit as well. We expect maybe one or two of these games to move to a Thursday or a Friday. It could be Oregon State. It could be BYU. It could be another one of these conference games. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to the BYU-Oregon State game and how those line up. I think those are the two biggest games of the year. And we always expect a couple of these other games to show up on Thursdays and or Fridays. I'm not sure about Thursdays anymore, but definitely I think there's definitely another Friday game in there somewhere. And then, of course, the big news yesterday, Boise State playing Utah State, Black Friday, 10 a.m. on Big Boy CBS. We had a lot of conversations about that on Idaho Sports Talk yesterday. Well, BJ, I'm very, very, very intrigued by the Boise State football fan. I thought when we opened up the phones yesterday, or when I put out a poll on social media, I thought fans would bitch about this. I didn't think fans would like it. I'm finding out 2 out of every 3 fans are liking this, are digging it for whatever reason, for personal reasons, because it's different, because it's Big Boy CBS. I don't know why. Like, they can shop for a big TV at 5 a.m. and then go to the kickoff at 10. For whatever reason, I think Boise State fans are digging that 10 a.m. game. It's the earliest start in the history of Boise State at home. I think it's fun. I think it's different. I can't wait to look forward to that game.
Well, I can remember this, that when I was down in L.A. when they were playing San Diego State on Black Friday last year at 9 a.m. out there, it wasn't fun at 5:30 when my alarm went off. We're not used as sports writers to have an alarm that goes off to cover a Saturday football game.
Yeah.
And so I guess the 10 a.m. is better than 8:15 p.m. if you're a fan at a home game. I was wondering what's better, though, if it's a home game or a road game, because it's a road game, you just turn on the TV at 10 a.m. and you're good to go. If it's a home game, you got to be down there at 6 a.m. tailgating in the parking lot. So, I do wonder how that plays into it, but we've heard so much complaining and bitching about the 8 o'clock and 8:15 start times. I don't think 10 a.m. folks really have much to gripe about, and the trade-off is you get the blue on Big Boy CBS, and so I think that's a big deal leading into the SEC game. Yep. Nothing against playing, at Utah State or at San Diego State. I think a home game on Big Boy CBS is a much bigger deal. So we'll find out today what the rest of the times are, and I'll join you guys at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll break that down a little more, and then you guys will have it at 3 o'clock today with Johnny and JP, 3 to 6, Idaho Sports Talk. So you guys will be all over it when it comes out this afternoon as well. Quickly want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Lithia Ford of Boise. Compare, shop, finance. You can do it all online at lithiafordboise.com. They got some great deals going on right now, so check them out, lithiafordboise.com. Idaho Central Credit Union as well, iccu.com for your personal or business banking. Check out ICCU, and Bronco Nation News has made the switch, and we're very happy as well to be with ICCU. And Transportation Compliance Service as well, transcomservice.com. I tell you every day, but 1,000 people a day still are becoming truck drivers, switching over to the trucking industry, and it's a great new career start, a new way to make a living. It's a very lucrative career right now. So if you're interested, they can get you all the permits and all the things you need to do to get out on the road as a truck driver. Check them out, transcomservice.com. Okay, Mike, we got a couple minutes here before Jonah Dalmas joins us, and him being number 12 on this list, how do you feel about that?
We talked about this in the offseason, and as we were kind of looking at the list, you gave me your top 25 list, and I was trying to move some players around. First of all, he is a kicker, but I think in this particular case, he's more than just a kicker. He's an emotional attachment to fans. Fans love him around here. I'm assuming it's the same way in the locker room. He's very successful. They have found a way to turn a local soccer player into a national weapon on a college football field. And I think that makes a difference. So I love Jonah Dalmas. Even though we cut his hair, I still love the dude. I'm going to have to ask him about his hair when he gets on here, when he gets on here in a couple of minutes. But I think he is a difference maker. And the way that Boise State's playing football these days, we're not talking Dan Hawkins taking knee Gandhi style and winning 40 points a game. They need kickers, and they're going to need Jonah Dalmas this year and beyond to go off and win a couple of close games. Boise State football is going to play close games, and they got a close weapon. I'd like to see him get some more strength in his leg. We'll talk to him about that. And, if he can become dependable instead of right now, I think he's dependable 45 to 50. If we could change that from 50 to 55, I think that would make him a heck of a lot more of a weapon. We'll see if that's a priority for him. But I love this kid, love what he's done so far, love what he represents, and he's going to go off and conquer the world someday. I can't wait to follow him.
And again, he got snubbed on the Lou Groza not making the finals of that. You look at the three finalists, they came from Oklahoma, Michigan, and Ohio State. So it was largely a name thing there. Yep. But you look at what he did. Nobody in the country last year, Mike, made more field goals than Jonah Dalmas. 26 field goals was the most in the country. And he only missed 2. He did it on 28 attempts. So it wasn't, and that was 7th in the country, by the way, 92.9%. But if you look at the attempts that he had per game, he had the top mark in the country in terms of attempts per game compared to his percentage of what he did. So he made the most, and he had the best percentage of anybody in the country. And his 2.2 per game also led the country as a sophomore to lead the country in makes per game. 6 of it, he was 6 of 7 from beyond 40 yards, Mike. He had 5 games where he made at least 3 field goals, 7 games where he attempted at least 3. And I guess the only downside would be the Oklahoma State game where you could have won the game and you had the tip. But overall, a school record 26 field goals, second most in Mountain West history. And you throw in the fact that the whole story, which we're going to talk to him about here in a minute, about the being a walk on and earning a tryout by sending him a video and working his way onto the team. I mean, it's a pretty incredible story. He almost went to the NFL. We'll ask him about that as well. And I think he's going to be may not make 26 field goals because you hope the offense is better this year and he doesn't have to take as many, but I think it's a chance for him to be another impactful player on the team this year.
Yeah, I would agree. So I think to answer your question, I think number 12 is just about spot on considering what he does mean for this team as a career 33 of 36. Let's double that. Let's say that he does stick around for 2 more years. And I agree with you and I agree with him. He's going to have a chance to go to the NFL after this season as a kicker. He might end up sticking around for 2 more years, but if he's like 66 for 72 at the end of his career, that's very impressive. But he's also in this really weird dynamic, and Andy Avalos has touched on it during this offseason. I want to see less of Jonah Dalmas. They want to see less of him. They had to rely on him too much last year. Jonah Dalmas understands that. Jonah Dalmas is a team guy. There's a chance here that he could be better, but we can see him less. That's the dynamic of this crazy, crazy football team.
Well, he's going to join us in just a second, but first, I want to tell you about BoiseDentistryCo.com, locations across the Treasure Valley. If you're looking for full family dentistry, Dr. Meinert there will take care of you. Those are my kids on the screen, and they rarely smile, so if he must be doing something right there. But check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com, United Commercial Insurance as well. If you own a business or handle the insurance for your business, they can write policies in 44 states around the country. They're a local company based in the Treasure Valley here, but they can help you out pretty much anywhere in the country. So check them out. Big supporters of BSU, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Ridley's Family Markets as well, ShopRidley's.com. 13 Idaho locations. Check them out, ShopRidley's.com. Locations across the Treasure Valley, the at-home shopping, the Skip app, all that great stuff. And certainly Blue and Orange Store, they're big supporters of Boise State as well, the blueandorangestore.com. Whether you're in Boise at the Town Square Mall or you are online out of the area, you can check them out, blueandorangestore.com. Mike, they donated some mini helmets that I sent down to Kellen Moore, and I just got him back from Kellen yesterday that he signed for the golf tournament next week. So that's going to be fun. So we appreciate the Blue and Orange Store for their support of Bronco Nation News. And we talked about Jonah Dalmas, Mike, and he was listening there at the very end, so I don't know when he jumped on. Hopefully you were nice to him, but Jonah Dalmas, nice enough to join us here on the show. And Jonah, we appreciate it, man. How's it going?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. We appreciate you for coming on, man. I know you guys are getting a little downtime now between the end of school and workout starting, so we appreciate you giving up some of your free time to chat with us. But what's What's the feeling like for you, man? You have the huge year last year and you're back, and I'm sure you want to back it up, and you heard us going over all the stats and stuff, but what's just kind of your mindset, I guess, at this point going into the summer?
No, yeah, I still been getting some work in the summer. I've been stretching a lot, trying to get more flexible, and I'm very excited to get back to it. We start May 31st, and mentality right now for next season is we just want to go out there and win this Mountain West Championship. I haven't won. I made it to the Mountain West Championship game my freshman year, and then we didn't make it last year. So that's just the big focus, is to get to a Mountain West Championship game this year.
I don't know if it's a huge deal, Jonah, but if you could turn your camera sideways, we might get a better shot here. If not, it's not a big deal. But unless you have your lock on, which you may, and it's not a huge deal if you do. Live show at its finest. There we go. Perfect. That's perfect, man. Appreciate it. What's looking back at last year, man? A historic year, as I mentioned. You set the Boise State record, second in Mountain West history with 26 makes, and just everything you did last year. How do you put in perspective? All Mountain West first team kicker, and I mentioned getting snubbed for the finalists of the Groza Award, but you have to be just super pleased to what you put together last year.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had that expectation, and I had my standards high at the very beginning when I first came into Boise State. Had a meeting with my coaches when they told me that I was going to be the starting kicker for my freshman year, and I told them from the very beginning, I said, I want to be one of the best kickers in the country, if not the best kicker in the country, and that's just the standard that I set for myself at the very beginning, and wanted to continue to keep that standard high for myself, whatever year I'm going into. And so just from the very beginning, that was just my mentality, and I stuck with that mentality and kept on with the walk-on mentality that I had mentioned before, with my previous conversation with Avery Williams, just to continue to have that walk-on mentality always, no matter what year you are. So yeah, that was just the big focus for me.
Jonah, you've always been very impressive in the way you've conducted yourself, the way you've carried yourself. Even that first year, that freshman year, you've always had this big picture look. You've always had this high standard look. And you just mentioned the standard word. Where does that come from? Is that a family thing? You know, those kinds of things just aren't, you just don't pluck a standard off of a tree and go off and try to become one of the greatest kickers in Boise State football history. So I always like to dive into your brain, your background. Where does that kind of stuff come from?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a family thing for sure. I mean, being the youngest in my family out of three siblings, I have two older brothers, and we were always just super competitive. Always, we wanted to beat each other in everything, no matter what it was, even if it was just running to the car to whoever gets shotgun first kind of deal. I mean, we were always competitive, and I think that's where it comes in, is I have that competitive nature in me, that whatever I'm doing, I want to be the best. And so I think that's where that falls in place, is especially in this position, in the kicking world, and in college football. That's just where my heart is. That's where my head is that if I'm doing this, I want to be the best at it, no matter what it takes.
Before we talk about the future, let's take a step back and talk about the past. How do you process how the last 2 years have changed your life?
You know, it's gone by it. I mean, you hear from all these former Boise State players that I've played with my freshman year. They've all said it goes by fast, and these first 2 years definitely have gone by fast. It's been a blur, but it's been surreal. It's been life changing. I never thought I would be in this position, looking back 2 years ago, and so just the fact that it's happening right now, and just the fact that I had that crazy year last year, and we're getting ready to go into this next year. It's just been insane to think about, but at the same time, it's just blown by so quickly.
Jonah Dalmas with us, the Boise State kicker, all Mountain West first team kicker a year ago. And Jonah, what, he said, we're going to move forward, but I want to go back again. I mean, I was talking to Tyler Rasa, and he had a decision to make about the NFL. He had the huge season. Then the next year, the stats came down because the offense scored more touchdowns. And, you go 26 of 28, and as Mike was saying, Andy Avalos loves you, but doesn't want to see you out there as much because he wants to score touchdowns. So,
right.
But I mean, the stats were so impressive last year, and I know you had it. I know you thought hard about maybe considering the NFL, and maybe some fans didn't realize how much you actually were considering it. What was your thought process? How much were you thinking about whether or not you could improve upon your stats in the next couple of years, and if that was as good as it was going to get, and what feedback you got, and were you seriously thinking about maybe trying to take a run at the pros?
NFL has always been like the vision for me. That's kind of like the end goal, to get to the NFL, and that's something that I want to pursue, and I want that to be my career. But as of right now, I want to win a Mountain West championship. I want a ring. So that was the motivation for me to do another year. People were talking about going to the NFL, and I mean, yeah, I like considered it, and they sparked curiosity in me. But my focus is I want to come back and win a Mountain West championship before I try to pursue those dreams and go into the NFL. So.
Oh, Mike, sorry about that. I thought Mike was going to take the next question. What, you mentioned the consistency, and I know the one against Oklahoma State probably eats at you still. You make 26, but I'm sure for a kicker, it's the two that don't go well that you think about more. But to go 26 of 28, I mean, that consistency, how do you explain that? I mean, is that just who you've always been, or it doesn't matter the conditions, the road, home, the distance? I mean, to go 26 of 28 is pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, from the very beginning, I wanted to be a person that benefits the team. You know, I want to be somebody that I can go out there and my team and my coaches and the fan base can rely on to put points on the board. And that's just what keeps me going. That's what keeps me confident in this position, is just knowing that all these people count on me to go out and get the job done. And so that's just my major focus, is that I want to go on the field and put points on the board and keep our team in the game or keep our team ahead of the game. And so that's just the big picture for me, is as long as I'm doing my job, everybody will be happy. And I mean, a lot of people have trust in me now, so they trust that I will go out there and put points on the board. And so that's just what keeps me confident in the position I'm in.
Jonah, you've always talked about benefiting the team and being a team guy. And I'll be frankly honest here, having covered this program for a long time, or just college football in general, maybe even pro football. Kickers are kind of a weird dude, and many times at practice, they're off to the side doing their own thing. I've been to many, many, many Boise State football practices where the kicker's just standing around, and for maybe 20 minutes or a half hour, he kicks, but then he stands around. What do you do as a kicker to incorporate yourself more into the team? How do you do the little things, whether it's a practice, whether it's in a film session, whether it's in a meeting with the team? How do you become more than just a kicker and benefit this team and incorporate yourself into this team more than several other kickers that have done in the past?
Yeah, no, so, I mean, we spend a lot of time kind of working our stuff in the sideline, working on like drops and steps and kind of just doing our kicker progression stuff on the sidelines. But the way that I do that is I just kind of like watching like the running backs. I mean, the running backs are the closest to us when we're on the sideline doing our own thing. But I like to like watch the running backs, or I like to watch the receivers, and I like to kind of be an extra cheerleader on the sideline, you know, kind of hype them up and make sure that they're pumped up for practice, because in reality we're practicing to prepare for games. And so I want to kind of do the same thing that I do on game day, is just be that guy on the sideline that just helps pump the guys up and stay involved and let my teammates know that I'm trying to like keep them motivated and pumped up in the best way that I can. And so that's just, yeah, from the sideline, I'm just kind of another personal cheerleader for all my teammates and just try to keep them motivated all the time.
Before you jumped on the show, I said I would like to see you become consistently. Right now, you're very consistent between 45 and 50, actually up to 50 at any particular length. I said I wanted to see you get a little bit more leg strength and go from 50 to 55 in terms of your consistency. I don't know if that's fair, though, because we haven't seen you kick a lot of 50-plus yarders. What is your offseason priority? And is one of them to try to get that leg just a little bit stronger?
Yeah, I mean, getting the leg stronger is definitely always like the best option and a good option too. But I think my big focus has just been making myself more flexible, trying to get the hamstrings and the hip flexors more flexible, because the more that my leg follows through the ball, the higher the kick will be able to go. And obviously, if the kick goes higher, then the ball will travel further. So that's just been my focus, is making sure that I'm getting more flexible, just so that I can follow through the ball with more power and more flexibility, so that I can get more distance on the ball. But to kind of answer that question, yeah, I would love to get out there for some more 50s and 55s as well. We haven't really gotten to that field position where we can take those kicks. But hey, I'm good with any kick, and I'm ready when the coach sends me out on the field to put points on the board.
What's the plan? Are you going to probably be doing the kickoffs now, or who's that going to be now that Joe Velasquez is gone?
Yeah, so Joel's gone, and it's up in the air between Will Farron and I. So we just got some competition when we're heading back into probably fall camp, or when we're doing our summer conditioning and workouts and stuff. We'll be working on those kickoffs together, and it's just up in the air. Our coach told us it's all on us who's doing kickoffs this year, and so there just will be some competition for that.
Well, final question, and we do have some comments coming in. Paul Frasina says, good luck on another successful season. Kurt's already chiming for you to land with the Packers. Perry says kicker is probably the only position that is expected to be perfect. We got a lot of others coming in. But I guess final thing, Jonah, just in general, you have such a big year. As we mentioned, a semifinalist for the Lou Groza. Everybody knows you now. And as I mentioned, for a guy like Tyler Rasa, as good as he is, it was hard for him to back that up. And that was mostly because he didn't get the opportunities to do so. But for you, how do you take what you did last year and keep the momentum going and improve on things like Mike's talking about? And how do you just make sure that wasn't kind of a one-year wonder for you?
I always just keep it in the back of my head that, you don't see kickers as much, but they're still important. And I value the importance of special teams and specialists that go out and do their job. And so I have that in the back of my head, knowing that when I am called upon, I am expected to put points on the board. And so that's just what my mentality is I'm going to go out and put points on the board for my team, my coaches, the community, everybody that's there watching. And so I have a big position, and this position can be a game-changing play to kick a field goal and maybe win a game, or get in a lead to potentially win a game. And so I just keep that in the back of my head and keep that mentality the same that I had as last year, is that when I'm called upon to put points on the board, I'm going to go out and put points on the board. So that's just what I stay true to.
Now, Jonah, I have a serious complaint, and I brought this up before. Every time I see you, your hair gets shorter. And I like the look 2 years ago. You're a good-looking dude. The beard's looking good. You're a Hollywood. You got kind of a Hollywood face, but dang it, I missed the hair, dude. I missed the locks. And when you put your helmet on, I can't find you. So
I know.
Do you miss the locks? Are you loving the tight crop? What's going on with the locks?
I do. I always miss the locks, but the hair, the short hair is just a lot more manageable. It's less time for my hair to dry when it's short, which is really nice. But definitely do miss the locks. But I think I'm going to keep it short again still, because I had a really good season last year with the short hair. So I think I'm just going to continue to roll with that.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Also, I just have to mention BJ Rains. I was born in Colorado, so I'm an Avs fan too. Right now. I was watching the show before I came on live, and I heard you guys talking a little hockey, so I was just like, I gotta say, go Avs to BJ.
Appreciate it, man. It's just for my 7-year-old, man. He's a bigger fan than I am, so we're just having fun. But I still think the Avs will win the series. I'm just trying to enjoy it while I can. I get a couple extra days now, but I got a lot of Colorado fans out here in Boise, I guess. So yeah.
Hey, coming back from a 3-0 lead is a 3-0 lead, you know?
It was. And McKinnon's hat trick and that goal at the end was something special, man. So that's cool, man. Well, hopefully for your sake, the Avs can finally get over that hump and get back to the conference finals and win the cup. And if it's not the Blues, man, I'll be pulling for the Avalanche for you, man. We appreciate you joining us, though, man. Great stuff, as always. Good luck with summer workouts and everything, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again soon.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it. There he is, Jonah Dalmas. Scary Mike, he said he was listening to the show before he came on. I forgot what we said, but hopefully it was all good stuff. But yeah, we appreciate Jonah for coming on, and he's one of the good dudes, Mike. You know, a local guy, and as we mentioned, has a cool story, and cool to see him, really doing well and making a name for himself.
Yeah, I love that kid. I don't know him other than how we just interact through these kinds of deals, and everybody loves him as a football player. He's very productive. It's really cool to have a kicker. It's almost like cultish when you get a kicker that everybody loves and so successful and a big part of the team, and everybody talks about him. So Jonah Dalmas, go out there and have a fun year, because we get a lot of fun out of it as well. So can't wait to see what happens.
Appreciate your time today, Mike. That'll do it for today's show. We'll be listening again 3 to 6 today. You guys will have all the breakdown of the schedule updates and any game date changes and all that good stuff on Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the ball game 3 to 6. Folks can listen live 95.3 FM, 1350 AM, the KTIK app, KTIK.com. You can download the podcast. That's what I always do on iTunes, Mike, and can listen to the shows on I'm not sure I like the picture there, though. You kind of beating Johnny up a little bit on the.
Yeah, he deserves it sometimes. You got to keep Johnny in. Got to keep Johnny in check. And then, of course, your regular hit tomorrow, 4:00 on Idaho Sports Talk. We do it every single Friday. Bronco Nation News Report and Idaho Sports Talk, 4:00. BJ Rains, looking forward to that, my friend.
Appreciate it. I think next week on Thursday, or maybe at some point on your show, if we can't do it in advance, or maybe we got to do it tomorrow on the segment. I would like to get some sort of KTIK gamble going for the golf tournament next week. I know Johnny maybe isn't quite on your level. Maybe we could throw him some strokes. I don't know. Or I mean, it's a scramble event, so maybe we just go on the teams, and maybe that makes it a little more even. But I'm excited to get you and JP and Johnny out there on the links, and it should be a fun week next week as well.
You said it was sold out. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a good time. And they pay us for this stuff, BJ. I love it.
I got to pay you for this? Oh.
Well, at least JP's got to pay me.
Appreciate it. JP helped getting us on as well. Thanks to you, Mike, and that'll do it. We'll talk to everybody later. Bronco Nation News Live, bronconationnews.com.